Hiya, this is Finn and Benji, and we've just finished the Amsterdam leg of our trip. We are currently on the train to Hamburg for the second part, and this is our first church update video. Kind of the amalgamation of 4 or 5 meetings with people in various church positions in Amsterdam. So we wanted to let you know kind of our thoughts on how God's moving in the city and what we've learned so far. So do you want to kick us off?
Yeah, and before we do want to apologise for the ambient noise.
Oh yeah, sorry.
We just wanted to get it out as soon as possible.
We're not sure if we can record tonight, so...
Yeah. So, but the first meeting we had was with a couple called Leo and Els, and they were a couple that housed us. So if you are watching, we are so grateful. It was a beautiful apartment, and we were chatting with them that evening. And so they came from the Bible Belt in the Netherlands and moved to Amsterdam a few years ago. And to minister in Amsterdam because it is the least Christian city, and it's a very super liberal, secular place.
They're described as a dark city.
As a dark city. 1% of people in Amsterdam go to church, so it is a very difficult place to minister. Yeah. There's sort of a lack of direction and hope.
We got the sense they had a big lack of direction in terms of how God would move in the future. It felt, I don't want to say stagnant, but a little lost maybe.
It feels like it was a lot of individuals.
God ministering to individuals rather than on a larger scale to congregations or to bigger groups of people.
And that sort of they were talking about how they felt the churches could be more connected with each other.
So there's not like a Love Oxford or a Nightlife, and I guess I imagine that'll be similar in all the cities we visit, because I think it's quite a rare thing that Oxford has, which is we're very lucky to have. But I think it's a super exciting thing, and I think it would be a great thing to implement.
That's the thing.
Really.
To just explain Love Oxford is if in Oxford we have all the churches. All the churches in Oxford are invited to come for one day in St Giles, which is this big, massive, wide street. And we worship together, pray together, and people, non-Christians come by and listen.
And Nightlife is the same, but for youth groups.
For youth.
But,
Yeah. And so connections between church to become more of a unified force could be a priority. This was reflected more in, so they do Alpha, which is, Alpha is a common thing, but so they do it twice a year, and I sort of suggested, why not 3 times a year?
Because they have good numbers when they do it.
They have good numbers when they do it, and they said, that's just simply not enough people, lack of resources. So we just wonder whether a more unified force between the churches might
provide those resources. I'm not sure if Alpha that it was just running their church. They don't go to City Kirk, which is Tim's church plant. I think that could be helpful because pooling resources is always good.
But it was nice to hear their sort of hope and their faith, and we had some worship later on and sang Bethel and Hillsong, and it was a lovely evening. But then in the morning we met with Tim.
Yeah, so Tim is the pastor of City Kirk Church, which is the church that Europe Collaboration funds, and he quit his job 7 years ago as a pastor in an Amsterdam church, and he now works part-time on City Kirk and part-time as something called the city pastor for the Protestant church in the city, which means that he makes connections with businesses, companies, organisations in the city, non-Christian businesses. His aim is to create a network. I asked him his vision for the church aside from growth, and he said it's not really growth at all, it's more creating a network of Christians across the city.
Creating something to build on.
A foundation.
A foundation for, because we talked about revival as well.
Yeah, and he said he didn't necessarily think he had to accept that he might not see that in his lifetime in Amsterdam.
But he's creating the framework, the foundation, the network, the connections between the churches for that to be possible in the future.
And we were talking about our experience of small groups, which has been really beneficial for both of us growing up. Yeah. And he thought that would be really beneficial, but he said it would be kind of how did he describe it? He said it would be kind of unusual for it.
It would be the Dutch mindset. It would be unusual for young people to sort of be in a group and know each other so well and sort of have fellowship like that. And it's not really not common for young people to do that. And
we got the sense again that it's a very difficult place to minister to. And there's a big lack of religious education in school.
So almost none.
He said the church is invisible in Amsterdam. The people don't know about it. They don't really know what church is. There's a big lack of knowledge about it.
If you spoke to someone in Amsterdam about the church, they probably wouldn't know that there was church there, and it's an invisible church. And Tim was talking about how he is the driving force of City Kirk, and
he's a big thinker. He really is a big thinker.
Big
He's
thinker.
an inventor. He's an experimenter. He's
Lots of creativity.
super creative guy.
Yeah.
And he's clearly really excited and passionate about his project and the city.
And he's got a team of 5, and something he appreciates are the different perspectives that team brings.
So some more spiritual, some more skeptical, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
that
some
brings
more
balance, which I
pragmatic.
think is great. That's
And something about City Kirk is it feels, because he's recognised that more traditional church is not
working at the
not
moment,
working
really.
quite in Amsterdam. So
For growth,
the
for
City Kirk is almost a bit of an experiment. It's quite exciting. It's sort of
it's innovative, and it's in trying to do something new. More on Tim later, because we met with one of his team members this morning actually. But then we went to meet a guy called Rene, who is a pastor of a worship project in the city, and we were really super excited by this guy.
Super excited. What a man.
It's kind of like a Rise. I think it's a monthly meeting.
Monthly meeting, in an attic,
like an attic
his
space.
church. Very cool.
It sounds amazing. It is pretty much a Rise, which is
It's
the
virtually a
service
Rise.
we have in St Albans, which is lots of an evening of worship and prayer, basically. But it's just super exciting.
yeah.
It really lit our Rise up.
It started with 5 people, and it's now at 80. So,
Vervoersbewijs alsjeblieft, tickets please.
yes, of course.
Sorry, we just had our tickets checked.
We're not kicked off the train
We're not
yet.
kicked off the train just yet. Yeah.
We're fine.
So as Benji was saying, it's grown from 5 to 80 people
And 10% are non-Christians. So
at every meeting, which is really exciting.
and it's the thing where it's not replacing church, but it's another time to have extended worship and extended prayer, bringing churches together as well, bringing a community together, leading, and it's also teaching and discipling young people from 14 to 25 how to be in a worship band, and giving them that opportunity to grow their personal faith, which we have definitely appreciated in the past.
Had the opportunity to lead services and do sermons and lead worship and that kind of thing in both a youth context and a church service context.
And that's
we're
something
both
that's
super grateful for that. And that's
really helped us.
brought
So we
us
were
a long way. So we were really excited about that possibility, because I think in a lot of ways young people are the way forward, and
they're the future.
they're the generation that will bring change. So that really excites
An interesting thing he said was actually commitment. He said that in Amsterdam, people are so busy that as a result of that, people can be non-committal to church life and serving.
Specifically serving. So he was saying he was struggling with getting a band that could practice every week. So he was now going to implement saying to be in this band you need to commit to practicing every Wednesday or whatever.
Something to maybe be cautious about. Or something.
So I think that's great, and that's something to be aware of for churches in the city, and good that they're implementing, making people actually commit to it. And as Benji said, connecting churches together is really important, because it's not based on one church. It's just any Christian in the city can come to it. And speaking of connecting churches, YWAM does that a lot, and that was our next meeting.
So we just happened to walk to YWAM Amsterdam, knocked on the door. They weren't open, but we went in and had a chat with a woman at the front desk, and we were talking about their ministry, and something they do is a red light district. Over 300 windows have been shut since lockdown, because they've gone into the windows and ministered to the women. They've done homeless ministry, feeding programs, and why she thinks it's very important for connecting the churches, because sometimes some churches in Amsterdam can be quite settled in their sort of own situation,
In a comfort zone.
So that was lovely hearing about the YWAM influence in Amsterdam.
So then yesterday morning we had a chat with some German pastors, and there was one thing in particular that Tim said that he described a story of 2 shoemaking companies going to Tanzania, and one sent a message back saying bad situation, nobody wears shoes, and one sent a message back saying glorious opportunity, no one wears shoes. And I think, and just the idea is seeing every challenge as an opportunity for growth and to see God move. And I thought that was really exciting and a really good outlook.
Especially when they were talking about how evangelism is really challenging, because people are very perceptive and open to talking, but very often their opinion is that religion is very other. It's not for them. They sort of say, that's good for you, not for me. And so it can be quite challenging. You can have these long conversations and not really reach anywhere. So they were talking about that as well.
And then finally we had a chat with Tim and one of his team members, Maurice, this morning. Tim was saying, like we said earlier, he doesn't necessarily believe the normal way of doing church is working. But I think working around that as the core, and then adding exciting events for non-believers is a good way forward. We were saying in our generation there's a lot of loneliness and need for community, and I think that'll be really important in bringing people
Yes.
to City Kirk and churches in Amsterdam in general, having events like football matches or barbecues or that sort of thing to just bring in people.
Familiar
and
events
then-
for secular people.
and
Yeah.
building a community which can then go to church and more church events. So that's the gist.
100%. But we felt so much hope and excitement from the people, especially the YWAM and the people we were meeting
And
with.
we definitely felt the younger the people we spoke to, the more hope we had, or they had rather.
Yeah.
Which is exciting to see.
And it was fun. First step of the journey. We're so excited for all the other places we're going to.
Please be praying for our Hamburg
Yeah.
trip. And I think that's all.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Hope you have a lovely day. Bye.